Hi everyone and welcome back. Today I wanted to showcase the team that brought me into Expert this season in the Weather Cup. The team is over there on the right. As you can see, it is Lanturn in the lead with Tentacruel and Kingdra in the back. Now it is not a cheap team, I'll be honest, because due to the fact that it is an Ultra League Cup, Lanturn needs to be level 50 to shine its best. I actually have a level 51 Lanturn, its best buddied. I made it a long time ago, anticipating that Lanturn might eventually get used if it gets a moveset rework. And with the addition of Surf into its move pool this season, it ends up being a kind of an unsung hero for the Weather Cup. Another thing to notice is that the entire team is water, but only one of the Pokemon, Lanturn, is weak to grass. So having a poison water and a dragon water in the back is nice to deal with the potential grass types that you might see. So this team brought me to my season high of 2784 the other day, and I'm going to showcase some battles in just a little bit. I have some battles I pulled from my Twitch stream the other day, which, by the way, if you're interested in seeing live battles, definitely give me a follow on Twitch, Jason2090, and also, if you like these YouTube videos and want to see more, definitely give me a sub on my YouTube, Jason2090. But anyway, just to go over general strategy for this team, grass is obviously a bit of a problem to deal with. If you run into an Abomasnow, Razor Leaf or lead, Lanturn kind of gets walled by that. And to be honest, Kingdra isn't great against it as well. Abomasnow could force its way through there. But generally speaking, water is very good in this meta because obviously water is very good against the fire types. Does well against rock, and the grass types are few and far between because grass isn't technically an eligible type for this. So all the grass Pokemon that you see in the meta are Pokemon that are grass typing with some sort of other typing, like grass ice in the case of Abomasnow, and grass rock for Cradily, grass water for Ludicolo, etc. So the team does pretty well. Just to go over a couple scenarios really quick before we get into the videos, because I don't remember if all these actually come up in the videos, but you might look at this team and think, okay, Swampert, that's kind of rough to deal with. Lanturn loses to Swampert, Tentacruel loses to Swampert. What do you do with Swampert? Well, generally, I disagree. Like, I would not say that you should swap in your best counter, and I disagree this is a good strategy to use generally, but in this specific case, in this cup, I find that bringing in Kingdra immediately into a Swampert ends up being a pretty good play. A lot of Swampert leads generally have a hard answer to grass in the back, since Swampert obviously does not want to see a grass type. So oftentimes you'll see a Swampert lead that has something like a Blaziken in the back, possibly even a Talonflame, something like that, in which case the entire team does well against that. And Lanturn and Tentacruel, despite the fact that they lose to Swampert, Swampert needs to land Earthquake against them, and water damage does neutral to Swampert, so if you can bring in Kingdra and potentially get a shield advantage over whatever they bring in, because they're probably not going to stay in with Swampert, then you could farm down with either Lanturn or Tentacruel, depending on the matchup, and come out with energy to throw Scalds or Surfs at Swampert to chip away at it. And that's generally the best way to go about it. You don't care for switch advantage too much because you're going to be using a team effort with an energy lead to take out Swampert later. Another thing on question what to deal with Abomasnow leads. Swampert and Abomasnow are definitely the worst leads for this team. With Abomasnow, you don't even want to stay in to see if they're Razor Leaf or Powder Snow. You just want to dip right into Kingdra. Abomasnow beats Kingdra, but Kingdra does a lot of chip damage with Dragon Breath if they decide to stay in. And if they do decide to stay in and they beat Kingdra, that's fine. You could now bring in Tentacruel, which does very well against Abomasnow, since the grass only hits neutral against Tentacruel and you resist all the ice moves. But generally speaking, yeah, you bring in Kingdra, and if you can win switch, if they don't stay with Abomasnow, bring in something else. If you can win switch with Kingdra, try to do it, because you'd like to align Tentacruel with it later, and if you can't win switch, then try to get a shield advantage and save your shields for Tentacruel, because Tentacruel is going to have to pull in double duty later. You're going to have to sweep with Tentacruel. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Let's go into the battles. I believe I have some battles to showcase right here. Oops. Let me fix this right here. Okay. Alright, so we'll go right into the battles. These are some battles I did live on Twitch, like I mentioned. These were already in the high 27, over 2750. These are already in expert mode. So very first battle, we run to an Abomasnow. So like I mentioned before, we're going to dip immediately into Kingdra. This Abomasnow stays in, and they throw a Weather Ball right away. We're going to no-shield it. It does neutral damage to Kingdra, and then we'll see what they do. They bring in a Lanturn themselves. At this point, we're trying to just throw Outrage, try to get a shield advantage here. They do no-shield it, which is nice. Now, Thunderbolt would KO us from here, or maybe it wouldn't KO us, but they'd be able to spark us down afterwards. We do decide to shield that. They have a decision here. They're going to reach another Thunderbolt, and instead of throwing the Octazooka to try to snipe their energy, I decide to farm it all the way down. And my logic here is once they bring in Abomasnow, I want to try to grab a shield, but I have a feeling they're going to shield here. Generally, I don't like throwing baits here. I want to just grab the shield, but I want to try to get that attack debuff. I don't know. Maybe in hindsight, I should have just gone for Outrage. But unfortunately, they have a Swampert in the back, and at this point, with Kingdra being our only hard answer to Swampert and us having no more shields left, we're kind of in a bit of a pickle here. There's nothing we can really do. Lanturn does survive an Earthquake from non-Shadow Swampert, but at this point, with them still having a shield, we're going to throw Serve, we're going to throw Scald here. It's not going to matter. We definitely lose this game. Tentacruel also survives Earthquake, although I don't think we'll have much health afterward. Yeah, very, very low. And by the way, this team I'm using, it's actually a lucky Tentacruel. It's only like level 42 or 43, 42.5 I think. So it's not as bulky as it could be. So yeah, so we lost that first battle. It happens. You're probably not going to lose Abomasnow, or you're probably not going to win Abomasnow leads. Alolan Sandslash is an interesting one because Alolan Sandslash does very well against our backline here, and it does pretty well against Lanturn as well. Luckily, they generally don't bait and go right for Bulldoze, and Bulldoze is a bad move in general. Bulldoze does less than 50%, even though it's super effective. It does like 41%, if I recall correctly. I made a mistake here. I shouldn't have tried to CMP tie this, because I end up using both shields. Sandslash leads often have a Pokemon in the back that Lanturn has play against. I'm just going to try to chip this as much as possible. They end up swapping into Lanturn. We could survive a Thunderbolt from an opposing Lanturn here. I believe Thunderbolt does roughly 30%. So we can comfortably survive one. I'm going to throw another Thunderbolt and then probably dip into Kingdra here. And luckily, Alolan Sandslash is low enough now where Kingdra can kill with an Octazooka or potentially with a Scald later from Tentacruel if we need to. They have no more shields at this point. They're not going to get to 2 Thunderbolts before we get to an Outrage, but Lanturn's pretty tanky. I don't think this Outrage is going to kill. Let's see. Yeah, I tried to throw right before they get to their second Thunderbolt, counting our moves there. We will survive this Thunderbolt, but we'll be very low. They actually swap immediately and try to KO us with Blaziken. This actually works out alright. Even though shields are down, Tentacruel is pretty tanky. We resist all the counters. And even if they're running... they could run Stone Edge, they could run Brave Bird. They do run Brave Bird here. They're still Switch Lock, though. We get to the Scald easily. And I probably should have over-farmed there, to be honest. It's a little bit of a tricky situation because I don't want to get Shadow Clawed down. And I probably should try to catch here. But yeah, they throw an Ice Punch right away. If I remember correctly, the opponent makes a bit of a misplay here. They must have lost track of my energy. Because they ended up trying to catch, presumably, a Surf there. And they mistimed their swap. They would have outpaced us. Because we were 5 away from Ice Punch. And Ice Punch would have KO'd us from there. So we actually got paired up with a rank 18 here. So that's how you know you're near the top. Because people are... there are not enough people around me to match me close to me. So we're getting matched up against rank 18s. Anyway, I Surf Bait here. Generally... Just as a general rule of thumb, you probably shouldn't be baiting too much in general, because the risk to reward is too high. But yeah, we win lead with a Blaziken, but they bring in Tentacruel. Our entire team beats Blaziken, so alignment doesn't matter too much. Once I landed a Thunderbolt, I bring in our own Tentacruel to try to Poison Jab this down, because Tentacruel is not going to be able to do much to us. We resist everything from Tentacruel, so the worst they're going to do is Acid Spray and then Scald, which I believe they do. Yeah, but we still have half our health here. They have an Abomasnow in the back that they bring in, Razor Leaf. We're just going to throw some Acid Sprays here and get a bunch of Poison Jab damage in. And at this point, once we double debuff it, or double debuff it with 2 Acid Sprays, it's so low enough. It's low enough that we could just farm down with Kingdra and they won't even get to a move. We have 2 shields versus the Blaziken. We're going to Octazooka them. At this point, even though they're very likely to bait us here, it's still worth shielding just because we have 2 shields. We have nothing to fear. They can't get to Blaze Kick plus Brave Bird. So we'll just shield. They ended up just top lefting there. They tried to make a catch, although we weren't even close to the Octazooka. But anyway, yeah. And by the way, you may see some alerts in the top of the screen. These were taken directly from my Twitch channel the other day, so that explains the alerts. And we have a matchup against PvP David, Swampert lead. So we're going to switch right into Kingdra right away. They have a Charmeleon Ninetales, which honestly I wasn't expecting, but yeah, it's kind of a rough situation. I've run into quite a few Swampert leads, and this is the first one I've seen that had a Alolan Ninetales in the back, so this is kind of rough. We're going to no shield, try to farm this all the way down because we need the energy. This is, I believe, just a Weather Ball. And even though Psyshock's super effective, it doesn't do too much damage. But But yeah, we're just pretty much hard countered here. Jealous in the back. We just didn't get alignment. We were hoping they'd bring in Swampert and they'd have something in the back that that Lanturn and or Tentacruel could beat. Because a lot of times you'll find Swampert leads will have like a Blaziken in the back or Talonflame or some sort of fire to have play against the potential grass leads. A bit of an unlucky alignment here. I believe I double shield here. Yeah. I try to get fancy. I try to preserve my Lanturn and take out the Swampert. They make a smart no shield here because they could survive it. And then this is just a Hydro Cannon, but it's going to put us into Shadow Ball range. So we're not going to be able to take out this this Jellicent. Our only hope is for them to somehow shield an Acid Spray here, but there's really nothing they can fear from Tentacruel. So this is basically all in vain. Yeah, they no shield that. They have a shield still. If we can get to a Scald, it would do a decent amount of damage, but it still wouldn't be enough. And they Shadow Ball us there. Here, I make a mistake here. There's no point in Surf baiting here. My only win condition is for them to no shield Thunderbolt, but there's no way we get to Surf plus Thunderbolt before they get to Shadow Ball, and Shadow Ball easily takes us out from this range. So we wouldn't have won either way, but when your only win condition is them not shielding a nuke move, just go for the nuke move. I should have thrown a Thunderbolt there. And we got another battle here. Lanturn Tentacruel, excellent lead. This is obviously a desirable situation. The worst thing they could do is throw like a Sludge Wave, you know? But most of them are running Acid Spray, because Acid Spray has a lot of play. What do they throw here? This one is running Sludge Wave, but even Sludge Wave, you see right there, it doesn't do too much damage. I'm going to overfarm a little bit and then go for the Thunderbolt. They take it out. The fact that they stayed in an undesirable matchup makes me think that they probably have something in the back weak to Lanturn, but also Alolan Sandslash is very rough for our team to deal with, so we're just going to stay and do as much chip damage as possible here. They're probably going to farm us all the way down, but we've already taken this Alolan Sandslash into the red, and we're just going to bring in Kingdra at this point. The Ice Punches will hurt, but they're just neutral, and Ice Punch isn't that great of a move, so we're going to tank a couple of these. I think I might shield here, yeah. I have to shield here. Just preserve some health on this. They bring in a Jellicent. Kind of a risky bait here, but I go for this because our only win condition is really for them to shield and get an attack drop. So we get the attack drop, we bring in Tentacruel because Tentacruel has really no play. We just want to try to do something. I'm just building up a bunch of energy now, expecting that they'll eventually switch to clear their debuff. But once I get to 100, I'm going to start throwing Scalds, because you want to just do some sort of damage. But these Shadow Balls from them are really not doing too much. I probably should have overfarmed a bit there, but I threw the Scald right away because I was afraid of them switching out. And they do switch out right there. What do I opt to do here? I think I no-shield this. Yeah, Ice Punch doesn't KO us. We preserved a move just in case we need it. At this point, this is almost certainly a Bubble Beam, but they can't get to Bubble Beam plus Shadow Ball before we can take them out, so just going to farm it down there. That was a pretty good win. Alolan Sandslash is rough whenever they have it not in the lead, because it's a bit of a team effort to bring that down, especially when Lanturn's already hurt. But luckily, they committed to the full farm down there, so we were able to land multiple Surfs plus all the Spark damage, so we got that low enough where it wasn't too big of a threat to our backline. But yeah, we went 3-2 that set, and we gained a total of -9 points. We lost 9 points for a 3-2, so that's how you know you've made it. You're near the top whenever you start losing points for 3-2s. But yeah, Weather Cup's a lot of fun. Lanturn to Regirock. Now, Regirock and Regice could each have Earthquake in their movesets, but the good news is Lanturn can tank both. Even though they're super effective, it does barely over 50% just because Earthquake's not stabbed from either of them, and Lanturn's just super bulky. So yeah, you'll see this Earthquake. We comfortably live it. I overfarm a little bit. It takes them like 13 turns to get to each. I do decide to shield it here. The fact they're staying in means that Lanturn might have play in the back. Yeah, they're bringing a Jellicent now. Probably a situation where you should bait because they're very likely to shield, but I opt to go for straight for the nuke move. Alright, so here's a situation where I shield because I know it's very unlikely they'll bait here. And right now they're at their second Shadow Ball. I throw the Outrage here. We don't draw the shield. It doesn't KO, unfortunately, but we get it low enough where we could easily Dragon Breath down, and we survive this Shadow Ball. So what are we going to do here? Okay, they have Cradily in the back. And they decide to try to catch a move on Regirock, and I knew we could farm it down. Here I probably should have tried to debuff the Cradily first. or even throwing an outrage to grab their last shield. I tried to CMP tie here. And I expected them to shield, but they actually don't. But we do get the debuff. We won a coin flip there. And at this point, because we won that, we could comfortably tank 2, maybe even 3 moves from Cradily, and they're in Scald range. Actually, yeah. They're in Scald plus farm down range, but at this point, you could just go for Acid Spray and farm down as well, which is what I recognized there. Even if they shielded the Acid Spray, we'll comfortably tank multiple... Like, we could have survived 3 Grass Knots at that point. So yeah, we won that battle. They recognized the writing on the wall. We're going to just poison jab them down. Alright, we got a battle against a similarly ranked trainer. Okay, a Jellicent lead, very positive for us. They bring in a Regice. Usually I stay in to chip it a little bit. We're going to throw a Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt and Surf are very similar DPE, so if they're both neutral, you could really throw whatever. It doesn't really matter either way. They showed Focus Blast, so at this point I bring in Kingdra. Yeah, because they have Thunder for their other moves, so you don't want to bring in Jellicent. The fact that they weren't running Earthquake tells me they're either running Blizzard for their other move or Thunder, and I thought that this is the best option. I decided to Octazooka on a CMP tie there. They bring in a Sand Slash now, interesting. Alolan Sand Slash. Another, yeah, we've seen quite a few Alolan Sand Slashes. Luckily we get the debuff here, another desirable situation. Because we got the debuff, we survived this Ice Punch now. And we're able to get off another Octazooka. Will we get the debuff again? We've won a lot of coin flips this... Okay, we got another debuff, which kind of works not that much in our favor, but look how little these Bulldozes will do now to Tentacruel. Super effective Bulldoze, does barely anything. It's pretty nice. Yeah, I made a mistake here. Coming up, I'm pretty sure we make a mistake this battle. For one thing, Jellicent's their win condition, it would make more sense to bait Surf there. I make a huge call, no shielding the Bubble Beam. Yeah, okay. It was probably going to be a Bubble Beam again. Now this Thunderbolt will do very little damage. We made some great calls so far. I decided to go right for a Surf here, which maybe I should have committed to try to go for Thunderbolt to force them to throw their energy sooner. And I made a big mistake here. I thought I had a Scald banked, but I didn't. And they have a Bulldoze banked. So I threw this game trying to combo play them and get fancy. I didn't need to. If I just stayed in and allowed them to... yeah, if I just stayed in with Lanturn, they would have to farm to 100 energy, throw a Shadow Ball, and then they would get to another Shadow Ball before I got to the Scald, but I would have a better chance. They probably wouldn't go all the way up to 100. Yeah, so we kind of threw that game. It was definitely winnable. Tentacruel lead, and they're staying in. And this one's running Acid Spray, straight Acid Spray. I believe we just go straight for Thunderbolt. Yeah, we go straight for Thunderbolt here. We're going to see what they do. I tried to throw a Surf there, but instead I accidentally tapped a move through. They just throw another Acid Spray. So we're going to farm a little bit more. We're going to throw a Surf here. We have another Surf banked, and I think I'm going to probably swap out to preserve this. Let's see. They bring in a Gyarados, a Shadow Gyarados. This is like a crunch. We won't survive. I want to build up to the Outrage and then throw the Octazooka to try to get the debuff and also grab their shield, but I believe they make a call here. Yeah, they actually no-shield that. But we get the debuff. They're super low. They don't have a move yet. Maybe they do have a move. No, they don't. Okay, they bring in a Probopass here. Probopass is an interesting Pokemon. I think this is the only one I've seen so far this week. We shield the Thunderbolt. They're running Spark, Thunderbolt, and Rock Slide. This will do the most damage here. I just go right for the Scald first because it's kind of our win condition here. And now since they see that Scald has done half, I'm pretty confident we'll grab a shield there, and we do. We survive this Thunderbolt. I'm going to just at this point throw a Scald because their win condition at this point is to hope that I bait here and save their shield for the Surf. And the opponent made what I consider to be a correct call by not shielding there because their win condition was for me to bait with Acid Spray and then save the shield for Surf since they were definitely going to die to the Surf. So they ended up no shielding there. We did go for the big move, which is smart, and then we ended up winning that one. We're up against a rank 17 now. We get some weird pairings around here. A little Ninetales lead. This is kind of a tricky situation. You win the 0 if you go straight Surf. But they brought in a Ludicolo. I wanted to chip this at first, so I recognized that and threw a Thunderbolt. I probably shouldn't have thrown this other Thunderbolt. I probably should have banked this. Because at that point they were low enough where I could just farm down with Kingdra. They're not going to get to a Leaf Storm, and yeah, obviously this is not good. If we had brought in Kingdra earlier, then we would have been chipped more with Razor Leaf, so that Alolan Ninetales would have less farm against us. At this point, I'm hoping they have an Abomasnow in the back, another Razor Leafer. Charm Double Razor Leafers makes sense, in which case I want to shield everything that I can from this. They bait us with Weather Ball, which is not nice. And then they have a Tentacruel in the back. So unfortunately, we're going to lose this game. If they did have an Abomasnow and it was Razor Leaf, we could Acid Spray them and then try to farm down and potentially catch the Energy Ball. I don't know if they would have gotten to the Energy Ball, since we were right at the Acid Spray there. I think I just throw some moves here. It doesn't even matter at this point. This game's lost. They have 2 shields. Yeah, kind of unfortunate. They're running Sludge Wave as well. We throw another Acid Spray here. We're probably gonna grab a shield. But yeah, this game doesn't really matter. We're gonna farm this down. We're gonna throw a Scald here, just because our win conditions to hope they don't shield. Although I don't even think Scald at this point, since they cleared the debuffs, would even KO. And we CMP tied anyway, and they just shielded. So that's a loss. What are you gonna do? And we have another battle here. Lanturn into Tentacruel. Okay, another desirable lead. Sandslash. So here's a situation where you win the lead, but they bring in something that our team's kind of nebulous against. Alolan Sandslash does not do well against our backline. So I like to try to land 2 Surfs. We're going to shield up the Bulldoze, try to preserve our Lanturn. People do not usually bait there. If they bait there, then good for them. Yeah, we're going to land a couple Surfs. I believe I'm going to try to catch. Yeah. So we banked a Surf, which is right when they get to their second Bulldoze, and they land the Bulldoze on Kingdra. We're going to try to farm it down. They bring Tentacruel back in. You should probably go straight Outrage here. I go for Octazooka. We do get the debuff, but I still maintain that's not really the smart play. You want to just make sure you grab their shield. And at this point, since they only have 1 shield, we definitely just go for the Outrage, because we want to get shields down. And they do no shield, so that's good. And we CMP tied, so we no shield this. I just decided to bring in my own Tentacruel here, since they're still switch locked and get a good farm down. What do I do here? Yeah, I opt to shield because it's likely another Bulldoze, and then see if we can farm down. Yeah, and then we don't know what they have in the back, but obviously something that Tentacruel does well against, maybe a Abomasnow. And that's it. We got another 3-2 from 2775. So let's see what our point gain is for a 3-2 here. And 2775 to 2763. So we lost 12 out of that. So yeah, that's it. That's the gist of it. There's actually not a battle start. The video just started over. Anyway, that's the gist of it. I hope you guys enjoy this team. It is very expensive, and it's only a week-long cup, so I understand completely if people don't want to dish out the Stardust and XL Candy to build this team. Tentacruel, I know if you have the optimal PvP IVs for the bulkiest option, I believe is level 50. Mine isn't. Mine's just a lucky one, because even though this is not a budget team, I decided to go budget a little bit on the Tentacruel. And for the first few days, I was also using a lucky Kingdra as well that I used for Premier Cup. That was only like level 39 or something. So this one is slightly XL. This one I used because I realized I had one that was like the rank 51 for Ultra League sitting in my inventory, and I said YOLO. But yeah, this is a fun team. It's fun meta. I enjoy it a lot. And this team, I've mentioned a couple other people. A few people who have watched me have used this team and have climbed significantly with it. So if you're enjoying Weather Cup and you have any of these Pokemon builds, or if you have a lot of extra resources and want to build this team, definitely worth trying out. It's a lot of fun. The Pokemon play well. Water types are very good in this meta. So give it a try. Let me know. Comment. Give me some feedback. If you have any other questions, let me know if you use this team, how well it works for you. And that's it. Until next time, guys. It's been fun. Definitely, if you like the video, give me a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll do the normal YouTuber thing, right? And beg for subs. I don't know. Give me a follow on Twitch as well if you want to come hang out and stream. Just stream our battles a couple times a week. Sometimes they're a little not much going on because a lot of queue times, but try to be interactive with chat and answer questions and stuff. But anyway, this is kind of long-winded. I'm just going to go say my goodbyes here. Take care, everyone. Have a good night, and good luck on your battles.